Hello, Amy. Thank you very much for talking to me. So, why don't we start by just talking about what the kind of effects you felt from the course on your everyday life? Kind of, have there been any sort of biggest impacts or takeaways for you?
Yeah. I mean, I love the course because it is so applicable to everyday life. Like you can do a little bit of something every day, really small sort of changes and things. I would say my biggest one was setting a morning routine, which I have now been doing for nearly 3 months consistently every morning. I think the course gave me permission to go a bit slower in the morning and just kind of take my time getting into the day. And I think that obviously has a massive impact then on the rest of your day,
Mm.
to start the day right, which has been so lovely.
Mm. Yeah, and I love that you talk about like the course sort of giving you permission, because that's something that came up for you a lot, wasn't it? Especially when we had the coaching sessions, in kind of unpicking that, like, why do we do things a certain way, or like because we're told we should, and suddenly you felt like you could give yourself that permission to sort of listen to yourself and your body in that way, which is lovely. And I love your
Yeah,
morning.
I think that's been the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I love my morning routine. It's so nice.
Yeah. That's great, and I like that you said as well about sort of little things that you could do every day, and that's something that I'm always really keen on, is giving people things that they can do that aren't sort of overwhelming, where it feels like you have to change your whole life to be able to do these things. How easy did you find it to kind of do the course and go through the content of the course sort of within your daily life?
Yeah, it was really easy. Like, obviously, it's really flexible, so you don't have to kind of carve out hours of your day to sit and work through the stuff. I really liked that, there were audio files, so I could be kind of doing something and listening, having you in my ear at the same time, which was really nice. So yeah, really, really easy to work through. I felt no kind of pressure to, like I say, kind of carve out, an hour here, or 10 minutes, and you can listen to an audio and do a quick exercise or whatever, and make some really sort of easy lasting changes.
Mm. And I know that you were looking forward to going through the course again in the future, because obviously you have the lifetime access. So um, do you think, does that feel like quite a nice thing that you sort of got it, that you can dip back into?
Yeah, definitely. There's been a couple of times where I've been like, oh, I remember that module, I read something really interesting, I want to go back and just look at that again. Or if something comes up in my day, maybe I'm thinking like, oh, I want something different exercise wise, and I'm not quite sure what that is. Obviously, I can go and have a little read, think about my dosha and all of that. And yeah, it's really lovely to be able to kind of sort of pick little bits
Mm.
to revisit when I feel I need them.
Yeah, brilliant. Um, were there any sort of standout modules for you, like any that you sort of really loved learning about the things, or anything that just was,
Oh,
yeah, or not?
I mean, I suppose the beginning, really. I mean, I did know my dosha,
Yeah.
obviously because I follow you on social media and whatever, and I'd done the dosha quiz, but to go through that again, and I suppose if that's something you didn't know about yourself, like, it's so fascinating. Um, so that's really interesting. I suppose stuff about like daily routines and times of day and things like that were really, really fascinating as well.
Because I remember there was a coaching call where we talked about the seasonal shifts, and kind of you giving yourself that permission again to shift sort of the time that you got up, so that, and I think now you've done that, sort of made a plan to shift that with the changes in the season, haven't you?
I have, yeah. I get to lay in bed a bit more in the morning. It's great.
Yeah, I was thinking of you the other day when I was like, I woke up and I was like, oh, I don't feel ready to get up yet, and I was like, well, Amy wouldn't be getting up yet anyway, because it's this season now, so it's funny.
No, she would not.
So I also would love to hear from you, because I know that you're self-employed, and I know a lot of people who are self-employed, running their own businesses, that kind of thing, can find it really hard to invest in something that they feel like is just for them, as opposed to something that's like, they maybe have an easier time investing in a purely business course.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, I believe that this stuff all influences how we show up in our work and everything. So I'd love to hear if you've experienced that, and kind of like, has going through this course influenced how you work and how your work life is?
Yeah, that's something I really struggle with. Like you say, sort of investing in yourself, and choosing to spend money on you. And actually, I'm really, really glad that I did pay that bit more and have the coaching, because I think that really, really helped actually to have that kind of personalized conversation as well, which was really good. Yeah, it's interesting. It's something I have been thinking about this year, and I have just invested again in another coaching program. So it's kind of, I'm hoping it's a bit of a domino effect, because once you realize that positive impact, you go, actually, this is worth the money that you spend on it.
Yeah, I think it's true, and I've definitely experienced that myself. Just like investing in yourself is always going to impact your business if you work for yourself, you know, maybe more than doing a course in, I don't know, like a really practical example, like SEO, for example, if you've got your own website or whatever it is, or a course in social media. And obviously those things are helpful, but this stuff can be, you know.
Yeah, and I suppose if you're working with people one-on-one, you kind of want to show up for them as your best self as well. So if you're not looking after yourself, you're not providing them with kind of the full potential that you could do. So yeah, I think by looking after me better, it kind of automatically makes me better at my job.
And of course we have the whole section in the course about work as well, and about, like you've mentioned already, the daily routines and kind of times of day, which can be really practically applied to our work as well, can't they? So there's all sorts of different layers. So is there anything else that you think that people should know about the course? That, like, if someone came up to you and said, oh Amy, I've heard you've done this course, what would you want to tell them about it?
It's a really good way of just getting to know yourself a bit more, and I don't think you can ever like know yourself enough. And yeah, you start looking at like everything in your life and like, oh, what dosha is that? And you know, like it's so applicable to like every area of life, like say work and routine and care and exercise and diet, and just like every little bit of your life that you can possibly think of, it touches on. So yeah, I mean, I would say I use at least weekly something that has cropped up in the course, or I think about, I'll read something and it will remind me of something that I want to go back and do again or whatever. So yeah, just to get to know yourself on a kind of more sort of deeper, intimate level is just really, really useful. And it's just so easy and flexible, and yeah, like it's not difficult. None of the stuff is like hard work. It's really enjoyable and applicable.
Great, yeah, that's excellent. Now this might be challenging, but as my final question, I wondered if there was what one word you would use to describe the course.
Oh, quite challenging. Let's go enlightening.
Lovely. Well, thank you very much for talking to me.
Thank you.